profile raising was only exaggerating my own insecurities. One of these women was just like that, insecure, called these children her problem when they weren't her problem. But the girl that didn't react that way, she's the only princess in the Bible that's recorded as being married to a high priest. And she married a high priest, and the high priest's name was Jehoiada. And do you know what Jehoiada means? Jehoiada means God knows. She had decided to attach her life to God knows company. She decided to hang out and to do life and to have conversations with a very person whose name meant God knows. So when crisis happened, she didn't let her feelings get frustrated. She didn't start to personalize the problem. She didn't start to run around with all of her angst and offense, but she went to the companies she'd already pre-selected. The God knows company. And God knows company will tell you, calm down. God knows company will say, that is not the problem, it is the answer. God knows company will not allow you to kill something that actually eventually you're going to need. See, the very boy that they rescued, Joash, the very boy that the crazy lady was going to kill, though he was just a baby, the very boy she'd said, you are the problem. His name was Joash, and you know what his name means? His name means, Joash means, God's provision. God knows company can tell you that what others are saying is the problem, it's actually the provision. God knows company will tell you that is not your problem, but it could be your answer. God knows company will look at the thing that others are in turmoil over, and it will see in it already a triumph that God is going to hand you. But without knowledge, you become frustrated just like everybody else. And one woman rescued what another woman was going to destroy. I look back at that girl that came into my office and began to take over my jobs. And I think of all the time I wasted resenting her. All the angst that I had on the inside, all the jealousy that they allowed my feelings to fester on the inside of me. And you know what? It was not until a year or so later that I suddenly had a moment where I realized the very person I had named my problem was a God-sent provision. She was not the problem. She was actually a provision, because all of a sudden I realized what she was now doing released me to go and do something else. When she took on that area of responsibility, I began to write a book. When she began to step into that area that I tried to keep from her, I birthed a conference back in England. She was never the problem. God was trying to give me a provision to grow me. And I tell you girls, some of you have got so tied up in knots, so in an angst, so angry, so bitter, so hating in the wrong direction. And I'm here to remind you, you need God knows company in your life. You need to know what God says, not what you feel. You need to know what God's plan is, not what you have controlled and manipulated. Do not kill your future. Protect it. Do not let your angst become the confusion for you. God is bigger than any situation you face right now. And God knows what you need. God knows what He already has planned for you. And I'm asking you, who do you trust? I'm asking you, after you've had your say and you've had all of that angst out, you're going to feel better? Or is it time to let God guide you? Is it time for you to see what God sees? As Nat comes to sing this song, this new song, I love that this song serves to remind you in this moment that God knows. The lines in this song say, why do we make God so small? Why do we reduce Him to a size that is manageable for us? Why don't we allow Him to be who He is? And that means trusting Him with some situations that are freaking you out right now. That means letting some stuff go so He can have His say. That means stopping naming the problem and allowing God's provision. We must not forget that no matter what we face, we serve the King of the world. try to put you in the box that I designed. I try to pull you down so we are eye to eye. When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? I try to take life back right out of the hands of the king of the world. How could I make you so small when you're the one who holds it all? When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? Just a whisper of your voice can take the seas. So who am I to try to take the lead? Still I run ahead and I think I'm strong enough. When you're the one who made me from the dust. When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? I try to take life back right out of the hands of the king of the world. How could I make you so small? You're the one who holds it all. When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? Oh, you've set it all in motion. Every single moment, you brought it all to me, and you're holding on to me. When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? I try to take life back right out of the hands of the king of the world. How could I make you so small when you're the one who holds it all? When did I forget that you've always been the king